September of 2020, Miles started experiencing very debilitating headaches, and he would wake up in the middle of the night screaming for us. He would want to hold cold things over his head, and it was just very uncharacteristic of him to complain about anything. The very next day at school, Miles ended up vomiting in his classroom. His teacher brought him to me, and he was holding his head, and she said, "Joy, you've got to get him looked at. There's just not something right. Look at his eyes." And so I took him up, got an MRI that day, and they told me while I was in the room that, your son has a brain tumor.
That was an absolute devastating blow to us. We had just walked that path with my dad, and we knew kind of part of what was to come, but it was just very, very difficult.
October 2nd of 2020 was his first brain surgery up at OHSU. They called us out in the middle of the brain surgery and told us, "Your son has cancer."
Miles has been fighting a cancer called medulloblastoma. That's a type of brain tumor. Overall, perhaps nearly 70% of kids with medulloblastoma are cured, but there are some really tough ones out there that Miles has been experiencing, where the cure rate is significantly lower.
My husband and I spent some time in that room together being really angry. We looked at each other and we said, we are going to go out and we are going to be positive, and we're going to fight this, and we're going to find the silver lining and the positivity every day.
We had to start radiation therapy, so that involved our family splitting apart for about 8 weeks.
It was kind of hard because pretty much the only interaction we had with them was like FaceTime, and you're either in this tiny house or like in a tiny hotel room or the hospital, and it's not the most exciting thing to do.
At first when you go through it, you're thinking, okay, it's, would it be 4 days out of the month that you'll be at the hospital? It's not that bad just to go to Portland, but what they don't tell you is, you should expect to be in the hospital the majority of the month. When your child is fighting cancer, automatically your brain goes to think that we're fighting to save Miles's life. The realization is that you're not just saving your child's life, but you are fighting for their spirit. So when we established his care at Asante, it was just completely life-changing.
It made a difference for me because I can come home and see my family, and I can play with Charlie, my dog, and I can just spend more time at home.
When he's close to home, it's nice because he can come home and we can hang out and we can try and make things fun. And when things are fun, you don't really worry about not so fun things.
Southern Oregon, Northern California, they genuinely have two just absolute gems at Asante, Dr. Plummer and Dr. Absalon.
I really feel privileged getting a chance to work with children like Miles and his family. The fulfillment I get from this is being able to help them in really difficult times and try to make the situation a little bit better, if not achieving a cure.
Miles has had a lot on his plate from the get-go with radiation in Seattle and chemotherapy and surgeries. And despite his young age, he has really had just a positive attitude, as has his family, through this.
Where Miles receives treatment now at Asante, if he goes in for his infusion, it is a very tiny little room. It's a very happy, small space. So both of my boys have been involved in 4-H, and they for several years have raised an animal for the fair, which is a long process, and then they have the opportunity to sell the animal at market. I remember the conversation and the kids talking about that, well, we're not going to do the bake sale for our club. We're going to do the bake sale predominantly to raise money for the Asante Foundation in honor of Miles.
A big portion of our 4-H donated to Asante. I've seen what it's like without this new hospital, and this new hospital will probably make a lot more improvements.
Our community is probably one of the best communities you could live in. Everybody knows everybody. And when people go through hard times, everybody just likes to help out because it just feels good that you can help out all sorts of people.
It's amazing to know that my boys feel so a part of a community that they want to help others. The new facilities are going to be amazing.
So when we were gifted the opportunity to attend the Hard Hat Tour, I was just absolutely blown away.
When I saw the hospital, I was mind blown because I didn't realize how big it would be.
Just seeing all these improvements, I directly know that people are going to experience something better with this new facility.
This new hospital is really going to expand our capabilities to take care of children like Miles.
It's going to have all of the most up-to-date things that you would need for a clinic, and I think it's really just going to help make these children's experience of their treatment that much more bearable.
I hope that when folks learn and hear about, Miles and Carter and the other members of their Youth 4-H organization and them giving back of their hard-earned money. I mean, these kids work hard every day. I hope that they are inspired. I hope that they have hope for the next generation. If you are someone who has already gifted your finances or your time, your resources to this new facility, thank you. You're putting an investment into the future of Southern Oregon and Northern California.